Family court, a Tuesday that smells of lemon polish and paper. The room hums with quiet rules and restless hearts. At the defense table sits Mara Alvarez, uniform from the night shift still creased at the sleeves, knuckles raw from scrubbing hospital floors. She doesn't speak. She cups a folded envelope and watches the edge of it tremble, the way Hope does when it's been asked to wait too long. Across the aisle, a caseworker lists concerns in an even tone. Late rent, a power shutoff, a school note about empty lunches. It sounds like a list of faults. It is really a list of wounds. People in the gallery study their hands. They know how easy it is to be fine on Friday and not fine by Monday. Judge Gabriel. Stone is known in headlines as the billionaire who traded boardrooms for the bench. He wears the robe like a promise, to remember that success means nothing if compassion doesn't sit beside it. He is brisk usually. Today, as he scans the file, his gaze snags on the three teens rising from their bench, 2 boys and a girl, triplets, with names that ring like bells, Ava, Ben, and Cole. They stand shoulder to shoulder, a small, brave wall between their mother and a world that can count everything except love. "We speak together," Ava says, not loud, just sure. "Please don't take our mom." The words are simple. They land like a hand catching a glass before it shatters. Ben places a small brass compass on the table, its face nicked at the 2 o'clock mark. Cole points to the same compass stamped on a pendant around his sister's neck. "It is a family token," they say. "North when things go dark." Gabriel feels the floor shift an inch, the way it did years ago on a rain slick train platform when a young woman laughed through tears and pressed a compass into his palm. He swallows, tells himself it's coincidence, and asks the next question with care. Mara raises her eyes. They are the same deep gray he sees in his mirror. Silence gathers like tide water. He grips the gavel, steady but not steady enough. "Let the children be heard," he says at last. The room leans in. A story is about to begin, not with a shout, but with people who have run out of ways to say please. Wounds, sacrifice, and a compass that wouldn't quit long before this hearing. Mara carried mornings like heavy trays, 2 jobs, a bus with hard seats, and 3 babies who came early and small. She learned the language of monitors and the courage to ask for 1 more hour, 1 more ounce, 1 more chance. She kept the lights on through holidays and heat waves, sang lullabies in 2 languages, and turned coupons into dinners that smelled like home. Pride never paid a bill, so she traded it for grit. Once there was a summer with a boy who wanted to be the kind of man his grandfather would salute. Gabriel was not yet a headline. He was a law student with a backpack, a beat-up car, and a belief that purpose would find him if he kept moving. He met Mara in a night class where the vending machine ate dollars and gave back warm soda. They split fries and stories. When a job offer pulled him across the country, he pressed a brass compass into her hand. "When you get lost, find north," he said, smiling like a promise. They lost touch the way people do when numbers change and weeks turn into years. A letter she mailed to his old address came back with a stamp. That said forwarding expired. She tucked it behind the compass and kept going. The triplets know the compass as family folklore. Each has traced the nick at 2 o'clock and asked where it came from. Mara always said the same line, a gentle truth she could afford. "From a good man I knew when I was brave and broke. He helped me feel less alone." She did not ask him for help. She never taught her children to beg. When a leak in their apartment ruined clothes, and a late payment spiraled into threats, a neighbor called the hotline meant to protect. The caseworker arrived to a dark fridge the night before payday, measured a life by the worst 10 minutes of a month, and wrote a report that could take a mother from her children. Mara inhaled, counted to 10, and said thank you for coming. She would show up to court on time. She would bring the compass. She would stand still. Gabriel built a different world. Companies, donations, scholarships with his name on the plaque. He tells interns that money is a tool, not a crown. He put on the robe to prove it. But some debts do not look like money. They look like 3 teenagers standing in one beam of light, holding a compass he once called hope. Conflict deepens, silent resistance, and the edge of a reveal. The room arranges itself into sides, policy on one, people on the other. The caseworker speaks in careful lines about guidelines and thresholds. A guardian ad litem clears his throat, and Reads a note from a teacher about 2 missed assignments and a science fair. Project built from scraps. The evidence is tidy. The truth is not. Mara listens with her hands folded, a posture that hides the tremor in her fingers. She is not quiet because she is small. She is quiet because storms waste air. The triplets slide a binder forward, receipts, bus passes, a calendar of shifts, letters of thanks from patients who remember her name. Ava opens to the page where power was restored the next morning. Ben points to the bank credit for spoiled food. Cole lays down a photo of their kitchen table, where 3 bowls and 1 shared spoon sit like a math problem Love already solved. In the gallery, people do the calculus of guilt and grace. A court officer shifts weight, eyes catching on the compass nick. Gabriel feels a memory strike like a match. Rain on train tracks. Mara's laugh, a goodbye he did not want to be a goodbye. He studies the triplets' faces, cheekbones that mirror his father's, a stubborn lift of the chin he recognizes as his own. The thought arrives quiet but certain. What if North has always pointed here? He cannot rule on a case that might carry his name. Law is a line he will not bend for himself. This court will recess, he announces, voice steadying as it speaks the truth. There may be a conflict that affects my ability to continue. The room stirs. He turns to the clerk with instructions that shelter the family within the law. Temporary placement with their mother, immediate connection to services, a review by a peer judge. Public aid is not a favor. It is a right. The order stands. In the hallway, away from eyes, he approaches Mara with care. He asks for 5 minutes and the courage to ask a question he should have asked a lifetime ago. She opens her purse, removes the letter stamped forwarding expired, and places it in his hand like a mirror. She does not accuse. She says only, I meant to tell you. Life became a race, he asks quietly, for a DNA test. She nods. Ava listens, jaw tight but eyes kind. Ben squeezes his mother's shoulder. Cole slides the compass into Gabriel's palm. We kept north, the boy says. Maybe you should hold it for a while. Results do not care about fear. They arrive with numbers and clarity. The test comes back certain. Peer judge reconvenes the hearing in a room that smells of new paper and fresh coffee. Gabriel sits not on the bench but in the front row. Hands open, compass warm in his palm. He looks older and gentler, like a man who finally set down a weight he didn't know he carried. The new judge reviews the order and speaks with simple grace. The children remain with their mother. The county will repair what the landlord ignored. A grant, anonymous on paper, obvious in spirit, covers expenses while Mara finishes her certification to become a nurse's aide. Pro bono counsel steps forward, already briefed by a foundation that moves fast when quiet calls are made. The court thanks the teens for their courage and names their binder a model for families who feel small in big rooms. Gabriel rises only when invited. He offers an apology without decoration. I cannot buy back years, he says, but I can show up for the ones ahead. He promises support. That sounds like presents, not headlines. Rides to practice, math help at the table, weekends that smell like pancakes, a college fund already signed. He does not take anything from Mara. He adds himself to the circle she built. She nods, relief softening years of tight shoulders. The triplets exchange looks that say we will try. People in the gallery stand, not for drama, but for respect. The court officer presses a hand to his chest. The caseworker blinks away tears and asks to visit in a week with good news instead of warnings. The compass passes from hand to hand and returns to Mara where it belongs. Truth doesn't ask permission to arrive, the judge intones, closing the file. A name is not charity. It is responsibility. One more line floats up from the family bench, spoken by Ava with the calm of someone who has just seen winter end. We aren't a case. We're a promise. Outside, light pours down the courthouse steps. Gabriel walks beside the family he has found, not ahead of them. Reporters look for angles and find a circle instead. Mara breathes in air that smells like rain about to start, and new bread from a bakery down the block. She threads the compass onto a stronger chain. The triplets plan dinner like a council of chiefs. In a small voice only they can hear, Gabriel says, I'll earn the right to be called Dad. The word is not declared. It will be built one steady day at a time. Some victories shout. This one stood still until truth caught up. A mother held her ground. 3 brave teens turned fear into facts. And a powerful man remembered that the highest seat is the one beside your children at the table. If this story found you, tell us where you're watching from and the line that stayed with you. Share a moment when compassion changed a room. Subscribe for more cinematic stories that honor quiet courage, family, and the strength it takes to keep north when the map is torn.